Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnupad Padamahamsa Parivrajagajaja Shuldara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Om Vishnupad Padamahamsa Parivrajagajaja Shuldara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founderacharya BBT Founderacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Karantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Samveda Bhakti Ki Jai Go Premanandi all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories CC Guru and Sri Gauranga. So this morning reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th Canto, 8th chapter, the sons of Sagara meet Lord Kapila Dev. This is text 23 today. every verse of the Bhagavatam is fresh and ever new. I did not get the memo that the schedule has changed. I studied for yesterday's verse. So, no. So please keep me updated. But sometimes shooting from the hip has its advantages. So, everyone there on their devices? I know. I'm watching everyone. It's like, the people who invented these phones are making a lot of advancement, right? The Gyata Sukriti from, they're probably going to hell for everything else they use for, but they'll get it'll be like King Nariga. He'll go to, he said, what do you want? You want all the benefit for all your phones being used for the Bhagavatam class and Krishna consciousness and all the religious stuff? Or do you want to suffer first for all the horrible things your phone was used for? What would you choose? What would you enjoy first or suffer first? Like Maharaj Nigra, he was given, that whole thing with the cows. So he was given the choice. Do you want to suffer first and then just go to heaven? Or do you want to go to heaven and then suffer afterwards? So if you had a choice to suffer first or enjoy first, what would you pick? Enjoy first. Okay. What did Maharaj Nigra do? He suffered first. He became the lizard. Like that. So he delivered by Krishna, his sons and grandsons. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens. You're in hell, and I invented a cell phone. So I told you the story. I met the person, one of the scientists who invented the cell phone, the technology for the cell phone. Did I tell you that story? A few years ago, I was in a lobby at a hotel in Phoenix, getting ready to go to the venue to set up for the wedding, and waiting for my ride. And this Indian gentleman shows up, middle to late, whatever. And he's asking the front desk for where his daughter is, grown-up daughter, because he needs her to bring him to the wedding. And he sees me, this is the Panditji, and he sits down while he's waiting for his daughter, and we start up a whole conversation. He introduces himself as one of the 3 scientists who came up with the technology for the cell phone. Okay, years passed. And then we dove right into a philosophical, atheistic debate. Theism and this and that and all these different things. And I held my ground pretty well. And then he said, my ride's here. He said, I really appreciate having the time to talk to you. But he said, you have to understand, everything we discuss, I will forget in 5 minutes. I have this disease of the brain. And that's why I'm asking for my daughter, because I can't remember people or places after about 5-10 minutes, everything disappears. So here is the person, famous person in the scientific world that came up with all the technology for this, and now he can't remember stuff that happened 10 minutes ago. So it's pretty sad. So on that happy note, let's begin the Bhagavatam here. Okay, the word for word. Tam aham jnana ghanam svabhava pradvasta maya guna vedha mohai sanandadyar munibir vibhavyam katam vimudha paribhavayami tam tvam aham jnana ganam svabhava pradvastamaya gunabeda mohai sanandanayar munibir vibhavyam katam vimudha paribhavayami tam tvam aham jnana ghanam svabhava pradvastatmaya gunabheda mohai Sanandanaya Munibir Vibhavyam Katam Vimuda Paribhavyayami Tatvam Maham Jnana Ghanam Svabhava Pradvastamaya Gunabheda Mohai Sanandanadyar Munibir Vibhavam Katam Vimudha Paribhavayami. Anyone like to chant? Anyone online?
Tam Tvamaham Jnana Ganam Svabhava Pradvastamaya Gunaveda Mohai Sanandanadyar Munibir Vibhavyam Katam Vimudha Paribhavayami.
Anyone else? Okay, word for word. Tam, that personality. Tvam, unto you. Aham, I. Jnana Ghanam, your lordship, who are concentrated knowledge. Svabhava, by spiritual nature. Pradbhasta, free from contamination. Maya Guna, caused by the three modes of material nature. Bheda Mohai. Giwix? Yeah. Jolly good. By exhibition of the bewilderment of differentiation. Is anyone here bewildered by differentiation? I think Ichcha Dvesha Samuttvena in the previous purport, right? Sanandana Adhyay, by such personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanat Kumara, Sanaka, Sanandana, and Sanatana. Munibi, by such great sages. Vibhavyam, worshipable. Katam, how? Vimudha, being fooled by the material nature. Paribhavyami, can I think of you? Translation. O my Lord, sages free from the influence of the three modes of material nature, sages such as the four Kumaras, Sanat, Sanaka, Sananda, and Sanatan, are able to think of you, who are concentrated knowledge. But how can an ignorant person like me think of you? Purport. The word sabhava refers to one's own spiritual nature or original constitutional position. When situated in this original position, the living entity is unaffected by the modes of material nature. Sagunan samatichaitan brahmabhuyaya kalpate. Bhagavad Gita 14, chapter 26, verse. As soon as one is freed from the influence of the three modes of material nature, he is situated on the Brahman platform. Vivid examples of personalities thus situated are the four Kumaras and Narada. Such authorities can by nature understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but a conditioned soul not freed from the influence of material nature is unable to realize the Supreme. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 45th verse, therefore Krishna advises Arjuna Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna. One must rise above the influence of the three modes of material nature. One who stays within the influence of the three modes of material nature is unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Agyanti Madandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksulun Minidam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Tena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadandikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bheva Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glories to the assembled devotees. By your good wishes, ardent prayers, I'll try to say a few words. O my Lord, sages free from the influence of the three modes of material nature, sages such as the four Kumaras, Sanat, Sanaka, Sanandana, and Sanatana, are able to think of you who are concentrated knowledge. But how can an ignorant person like me think of you? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his description of the Vedic literatures, explained that one way to understand them is Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Sambandha meaning the relation, in other words, reality. Sambandha means how does everything fit together? Who am I? And what is this world? What's beyond? Sambandha, in other words, what's going on here? And then prayojana, and then abhideya means the engagement in devotional service or the process to become free from material nature. And then prayojana is the goal, and for us that is Krishna Prem. And the Vedic literatures, any of the literatures can be seen in this way. In fact, I don't know who copied it, but I do have this mimeograph paper, notes by Srila Prabhupada dividing the Bhagavad Gita verses into, have you seen that? It's an old document. It's just kind of just all little pieces of paper dividing all the verses into Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana in the Bhagavad Gita. So, what is that? It's
like a printed little pamphlet?
Not even a pamphlet, it was just pages. And it's set. Okay, I mean, this is from the 80s or late 80s, early 70s. I got it. I still have it, just pieces of paper stapled together, but it says Srila Prabhupada notes. Yeah, and someone copied it. It's not Prabhupada's handwriting, but it's all the verses divided. Because the very first thing we have to understand is the Sambandha. Sanatana Goswami and Madan Mohan. He's the Sambandhacharya, and Madan Mohan deities are the deities of this Sambandha, understanding our position. and becoming free. If you don't know how to become free unless you understand what a situation is, just like if someone knocked you out, and you woke up and you're sitting in a chair and your legs and your hands are tied. So what am I doing here? How did I get here? How do I get out of this, right? That's an appropriate example because the gunas means ropes. The three modes of material nature, gunas sometimes translated as ropes. How are we tied up, you know? And it's quite interesting, no matter how someone's tied up in these action movies, they always figure out how to get out of it, right? Somehow or other they figure how to wiggle out of it or something or whatever, how to... Okay, but they just always figure out how to get out. Like that. It's like, well, the season's over. He died. He couldn't get out. So let's figure out how to get out. So the Bhagavad Gita is explaining in the Sambandha, of course, Krishna is giving some good advice in the second chapter, not good advice, essential advice to Arjuna about this Trigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtrigunya Bhavarjuna. That most of the Vedic literature deals with the modes of material nature, and actually people still in the modes of material nature. It's not transcendental information at all, because you have people acting, they're understanding reality. In the Bhagavad Gita it says a worker in the mode of ignorance, he just thinks his work is everything, his day-to-day life, nothing beyond that. Just work very hard and enjoy my senses. Work very hard and enjoy my senses. That's it. And that's about 99% of our population, human and animal. They just work very hard and enjoy their senses without any consideration even of piety or impiety. And a little more advanced is piety. Work very hard, piously, and enjoy my senses. Even to the point of understanding I'm not my body and I want to go to heaven and enjoy a body there. And actually most of the Vedas deal with that realm of getting people to go to Swarga, to be pious and so on, so they can go to heaven and get their rewards in heaven. But and then you have becoming free from all this illusion, Brahman realization and personalism, and then beyond all that is devotional service, and that's a tiny little sliver of the Vedic information. But in the very beginning, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Nishtrigunya Bhavarjuna, go beyond all this flowery language of the Vedas and become my devotee, become free from the modes of material nature and so on. And in the 14th chapter, what's the name of the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? You know that off the top of your head. Yeah, the modes of material nature. So Krishna right there is a whole chapter dealing with this sambandha. In other words, how are we tied up? What's our problem? How are we tied up and how to get out? And that's quoted in the purport here, 1426. So let's jump right into the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. You ready? Ready to jump in? Okay. Now, in the very beginning, I'm just speaking about 3-4 verses from this chapter. Krishna is talking about the very first thing. He goes, boom, number 5. Material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So just think about it. The spirit soul comes in the material world. Something's got to cover him because he doesn't belong here. Something has to make him forget the spiritual world. He wants to, and so Krishna assists in that forgetfulness. Shmitirgyanam apohanam cha. Krishna says, I help you forget. If you want to forget me forever, I'll assist you. If you want to remember, whatever. Krishna's there. So the modes of material nature are how the living entity becomes covered till he completely forgets Krishna. It's kind of, I was thinking about it, it's just like when you go to the hospital, they can put you under. What are they called? Anesthesiologist? That's a long word, isn't it? How are we doing that one? Anesthesiologist, like that. Because sometimes they have to operate on you and they give you enough of some kind of painkiller. You're still conscious. But there's no, like a dentist. They put the Novocaine there. They don't knock you out. Local. There we go. Local. And you don't feel any pain, but you're conscious. And then they give you a little bit more. And they knock you out, and you come to. It's like, what happened? My mouth hurts like anything. What did they do? Like that. And then there's another kind where they actually can induce a coma. Isn't that amazing? They do that sometimes because of the situation the person in is so traumatic for their body. They actually induce a coma, and the person actually is so deep in, what do you want to call it, coverings or forgetfulness. They're in a coma induced by the doctor. Complete forgetfulness, like that. They have to do that sometimes and then gradually pull them out of it when they can, after he's been treated or whatever the situation may be. So you can see different levels here. Even in the 3rd chapter of the Gita, talks about different levels of lust, like dust on a mirror, or the child in the womb, or smoke in the fire, covered different, gradual gradations of covering. So the mode of goodness is the least, the mode of passion more, and the mode of ignorance is, hasta la vista, baby. You're finished. You're done. You're covered. It's over. Like that. There's nothing, not over, but it's just like so deep. But even all of them are actually coverings, and not in any of those modes does one actually understand their spirit soul. There's a little inkling in the mode of goodness, but what's the catch in the mode of goodness? How do you get tripped up in the mode of goodness? Krishna says, pride is one, and a sense of, yes, a sense of peace. Why everything's fine. Everything's just wonderful. Why endeavor to get out? Everything's just wonderful. It's fantastic. That's the unfortunate situation of those in the mode of goodness. So we're not even interested. Our cultivation, we have to cultivate the mode of goodness, because in the mode of goodness one can understand spiritual things. But that's it. That's why we're cultivating the mode of goodness. Now there are these different movements, organized and just disorganized. Call it New Age, or what do they ever use that term? Is it passé? New Age is old age. Old age. What do they call it now? Just mindfulness and different things like that, or woke. Okay, so that for just enjoying their senses, just like you said, just to be peaceful, happy in this world, without any transcendental goal. That's the idea. It doesn't go beyond that. They can understand that, you have to be concerned about the environment, and you have to be concerned about this, and morality and ethics, and being a vegetarian, and all these things, and having a spiritual goal, and having a spiritual space, and seeing everyone as your brother or sister. All these things are very wonderful, and it creates about a very peaceful, happy environment for all of us to enjoy in this material world. See, it stops. So they don't understand the real reason, the absolute reason, sublime reason for cultivating goodness is not to stay here. It's like getting to the door and then you don't go any further. No, you're supposed to go through the door. No, I just like it here. It's right by the door. I like it. So Krishna's saying in the Bhagavad Gita, this is how we are captured, and he gives all these different ways we can understand someone in goodness, someone in passion, in ignorance, and so on. How these influence us, and because of the amount of time here. And here we go. Well, it says, here's a synopsis. From the mode of goodness develops real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops, and from the mode of ignorance develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. And you can associate with these different modes, because Krishna goes on to explain later chapters that everything in this material world is divided into these 3 modes of nature. The food we eat, the clothing, associations, all kinds of, everything is a combination of the modes of material nature. So by association, we become just like that. Now 2 streets over, there's a street called, what's 2 streets over there? Garnet. Did you know Garnet is famous in San Diego for something? What's it famous for? Yes, it has more bars than any per capita than any other place in San Diego. So it kind of modes you over there, right? Like that. But so it's very, very active in the evening, like that. And people are in that association. They're very much in the modes of ignorance and passion. Then you come 2 blocks over here to the Hare Krishna temple. It's a whole different place, different kind of association. That's one example. And so it goes into then Arjuna asks, how do you know someone who's above the modes of material nature? Krishna explains that. And actually, I wanted to back up. It's one of my favorite verses in the Bhagavad Gita. 1420. Gunane tita trin dehi deha samud bhavam janma mitu ja dukkar vimukta mitam ashnute. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, when the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. So he's explaining when you actually, the abhideya of becoming free. If you can get free from the modes of material nature, this is what you have to look forward to. This vimukta amritam ashnute, one can enjoy real nectar, real happiness, like that, becoming free from the modes. And then, let me bring it back here. Then the verse quoted in the purport today, Mam chayo vivacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. This is the conclusion of the chapter. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So, because Arjuna asked one question, is how do you get out of the modes? So we're in it, how do we get out? Now Krishna is saying here, one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, transcends the modes of material nature and comes to the level of Brahman. One realizes one's spiritual identity, and then of course that means Jiveta Supoi Krishna Nityadas. So becoming free from the modes of material nature, that's a Brahminical culture, that's our culture. That's not modern culture today. Modern culture today is to cultivate the different modes of nature according to your psychophysical makeup. We just talked a little bit ago about those who quasi-mode of goodness. They're cultivating that. That's a... Yes. Quasi-mode of goodness. So, very good. Hare Krishna. And then, let's see if I can come up with another one for you. Then you have mode, of course, today, ignorance and passion are cultivated. People are cultivating those. They're very much attached to those, even though they don't bring any happiness. Maharaj was explaining this morning about, he was listening to the BBC or NPR about suicide. You know, just like in my profession, there's a lot of funerals in December. A lot of people call for funerals every year. People just pass away, and I don't mean like mostly elderly people. That's it. They just had it. They just somehow the statistics there. Speak to any funeral home director, they'll tell you the same thing. December is really busy. Boy, it's busy, like that. So why is that? People are cultivating these lower modes of nature. They're not getting any happiness. They're not really getting any happiness. And of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains what happiness in passion and ignorance are. In passion, it seems like it's going to be a great time, but then it turns to distress, and ignorance is distress from beginning to end. But we're cultivating it. And unfortunately, the leaders of society are the ones cracking the whip for economic development. That's what it boils down to, isn't it? Money. And in a society we live today, it's you're being encouraged more and more to get this, to get that, to get this, capitalism and materialism, and you'll be happy. But very few people ever stop to look and say, wait a second, no one's happy. Just like Prahlad Maharaj is saying, I noticed my father wasn't very happy. And he gets the prize. If anyone's going to get a prize, Hiranyakashipu is going to get a prize for the one, just like they have in, it never happened to me because I dropped out of high school. But I don't know if it's in college, but in high school, in the yearbooks, they always have most likely to succeed. And they have some picture of some nerd who becomes like Bill Gates or something like that, or this or that, or the couple most likely to succeed, or some, different things. Most likely, to become successful, like that. So in our universe, if we had a universal yearbook or millennium book, Hiranyakashipu would be the most likely, before he met his end, to succeed. I mean, he took over the whole universe. He had every single enjoyment could possibly imagine in the universe. And that's way beyond, just like it described in this verse, that you're in the modes of material nature, you can't understand Krishna. Well, in the human body, we can't even understand what's going on in heaven. We can't even understand it. Even the descriptions are there because even in the heavenly planets, your senses are different. And can you imagine if you could eat something and on the tip of your tongue, it exploded into like 1,000 different flavors? Where's Ananda Vrindavan? He made the khichdi. Let's see the khichdi this morning. How many flavors it explodes on your tongue. Or your ears are so attuned to such beautiful sounds. And actually your mouth can make those sounds. There's one book on chanting by Satyananda Swami. He goes about kirtans. He's talking about kirtans. You know, we get up there, we're thinking really melodious and all that. He says, you have no understanding. He says, in the spiritual world, the gopis, their voices are so beautiful, and there's 3,000 and something different ragas they can sing. And we can carry a tune or so, and we think we're the latest and greatest on the kirtan circuit. So in the heavenly planets, the sounds you can make with how beautiful they are, and their ears and their sense of touch. And so we can't even appreciate how the happiness of the heavenly planets, let alone the spiritual world. But Hiranyakashipu, he had all of that at his disposal, and it's described he was so miserable, right? Those smell like some kind of alcoholic beverage and all that, and his eyes are rolling, and he's just miserable. He's just trying to enjoy his senses with everything in the universe he could possibly enjoy them with, and he was still unhappy. And Prahlad said, I saw that about my father. He wasn't a very happy man. In fact, he tried to kill me. So, and I tried to tell him about devotional service, but he wasn't listening. So he tried it better than we could even possibly imagine, and he wasn't happy. So what chance do we have? So that's something to consider. When we're thinking about endeavors in life, you look to see, well, who's already tried to do this, and how did it turn out? Right? No one in the material world has ever become happy because time takes everything away. And plus, just the very nature of material happiness is very frustrating. And those who have tried to become devotees, they have been very, very happy and very successful. In the purports mentioned here about the 4 Kumaras and Narada Muni. Look at them. Look at that character. What did they achieve? Maybe I should go that direction. So that's why the sadhu sangha is so important, either directly or through the pages of the Shastra. Or on a computer screen. Yeah. So we just have to calculate. This is all sambandha. Here I am. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Just like today. What are you going to do today? You got to make a decision. Class is going to end real soon. What am I going to do today? I got how many hours in the day? It's not a very long day. 21st was the shortest one, right? What? No? When's the solstice? Okay. Right around now, though, isn't it? Right around now. So very, very short. So, but 4:30, 4:45, sunsets. So I'm going to what are we going to do today? What's the endeavor? What's the endeavor? Sambandha. Who am I? What am I going to do with my day? I have a certain amount of time given to me, a certain amount of strength, intelligence. How free am I going to get from the modes of material nature? I'm going to duke it out with ignorance and passion. What am I going to do? Every day, the choice is ours. Krishna gives it to us. The choice is ours. Fortunately, we know we have a choice. That's it. The materialist has no idea he has any choice whatsoever. Again, we said earlier, just work hard and enjoy your senses. Work hard, enjoy your senses. Work hard, help other people enjoy their senses. Oh, he's a philanthropist. He's a good family man. He's a good politician. Because he's helping other people enjoy their senses. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, different things to contemplate. And the point is, people say, show me God. We'll end with this. Show me God. And Prabhupada will say, well, do you have the eyes to see God? Here it's saying, anyone in the modes of material nature, you can't see God. You just can't. You can't do it. It's, what does Krishna say? Yoga Maya Samabritaha. It's a curtain. You just can't perceive it. You just can't perceive it. So you have to rise. Gunatit, Gunamayi. You know those two words in Sanskrit? Gunatit, Gunamayi. Catch it with my hands? Gunatit, Gunamayi. What do you think that means? Gunatit, above the modes, and Gunamayi, in the modes. So we have to become Gunatit. We have to rise above the modes by the cultivation of devotional service and goodness. So goodness gracious, I think I'll end right now. Yes, Dravida Prabhu, I'm sure you got a lot to say about the class I just gave.
I have a question for you. I would like you, because this, you won't find this in the Bhagavatam actually, but you once explained to me what happens when you finally run out of punya in the heavenly planets, and how you come back, how you get down here. It's not such a smooth transition. Could you explain that?
Okay, one class when Maharaj is explaining about people saying that contradictions in the statements in the Vedas, because it says in the heavenly planets that no one dies there. But people don't stay there forever. Kshine punya margam bishanti. As soon as your piety runs out, you fall down. So he said actually what the description is that in the heavenly planets, when the time of death comes, you don't die there, you start falling. You start falling this way towards the earthly planets, and Rakshasas eat you alive, and then the tears from your eyes fall to the earth with the soul in it, and you become, grass, or like Prabhupada explains, you come in the rain. So you actually they don't die in the heavenly planets, they die on the way down being devoured by Rakshasas. So that's one explanation. How do you like that?
What's the description?
The exact scripture, I don't know. It was a class by one Maharaj speaking about that. And because you never hear about, man, Indra's getting old. How many glasses does he need? He's got 1,000 eyes, right? It's like, 500 pairs of glasses. So you never hear of like old people in the heavenly planets. Never. So what happened? Like there's no old age homes in Swargaloka. They're all playing shuffleboard or something like that. No, they're youthful, and then time of death.
You would think that if that became well known, it would be a kind of a deterrent to, even aspire to go to the heavenly planets?
You're gonna die some way. I'll just like Prabhu said, he wants to enjoy first. I'll go to heaven, have a good time. Whatever comes, comes. Let me enjoy now, right?
Sounds like the mode of ignorance to me.
Name a good way to die besides being in Krishna consciousness. Name a good way. There isn't.
Almost anything is better.
Well, I mean,
than being
Miss
slowly
Prakash
eaten by
sitting
the
on her
evil.
couch chanting japa and she just leaves. I'm not talking about that. I mean, just in the general course of dying, just like Pavamani used to say, there's a show he used to watch called I Should Be Dead. Some reality show about these people, that like an animal falls on their head and they lived, or something like that. It's just like all these things. You name it, there's like thousands. In fact, there's a book, isn't there? Like 1,000 Ways to Die. Is there a book? It's 1,000 Ways to Die. It's a TV show? Okay. So, I mean, it's all horrible. But still we keep trying. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Keep trying. So.
But that description was referring to everyone who comes from heavenly planets? Because I'm just surprised that they'd have to go through such suffering when it seems that they've kind of freed themselves from so much bad karma that I wouldn't expect them to have any bad karma that would lead them to suffering so badly.
There was no clarification in that class. Just the fact, because he was speaking about, people say, oh no, there's a discrepancy here. No one dies in heaven. Well, no one dies, so somehow or other they're not dying in heaven. There's no death in the heavenly planets. So this is one explanation, is those who are falling down, maybe due to offenses or whatever, this is how they die. So obviously there are people in the heavenly planets who are very, very pious, but it is time to go. So do they go the same way? I don't know. But it was just to prove that the statement that no one dies there, they got to step outside.
Thank you, Dharmasetu Prabhu, for a wonderful class. I wanted to ask you if you could speak more about the Sambandha Tattva in relationship with the Madan Mahan deity and the Acharya who is presenting that Tattva to us. How do we practically understand this, our connection with the deity and the revelation of Sambandha Gyan?
Only two things I can say, and maybe Dravida Prabhu or Balaram can elaborate on it. But my understanding of Sanatana Goswami in his writings, he's presenting Sambandha. And like Rupa Goswami, Nectar Devotion and so on, is the Abhideya, how to engage in devotional service. So his writings, you'll see predominantly a lot of Abhideya, Sambandha, a lot of Sambandha. And that in Vrindavan, you first approach Madan Mohan, because that's the beginning, is Sambandha, is a Sambandha deity. You approach him and try to, praying, you know, how to understand my situation in this material world and how to become free from it. And then Radha Govinda is the Abhideya, praying for engagement, devotional service. And then Gopinath is Prayojana, love of the gopis. So that's all I know as far as any more elaboration. I'd have to look it up because it has escaped my memory. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think there's some description in the purport, isn't there? Prabhupada talks about the three presiding deities, and it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anything else? Okay. You get 3 times, see how many flavors you can taste. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.